Here we have the tip and torque surveyor, the TTS manual version, no electronics. I'm going to show you now how I would survey for an orthodontic model, for example, and get values for tip and torque, or in this case torque is the inclination of the teeth and tip is the angulation of the teeth with regards to the midline. So, but just for our purposes we'll call them tip and torque, but you know when I'm talking about torque I'm talking about the actual inclination of the tooth, because torque is a force, a moment. So I'll just show you this. Let me zoom in and try and get a good angle. Hard when you're working from home during a shutdown. Okay, so I have my instrument here on the back. I have a knob that I can change the blade with relation to the inclination of the tooth to measure the negative or positive inclination of the tooth in relationship to the arch. I have this one I can turn, which I align with the axis, long axis of the crown, which will give me the angulation or tip of the crown with relation to the midline. So the blade leans at the top when I'm doing the lower right side of the arch. It means it's positive. If it leans away it means it's negative, and then I just read it off here on the scale. Very easy. And the instruments have been precisely engineered and tested and calibrated so that there shouldn't be a problem. So if for example, I will move the gross height up and down with this lever here, slides up and down, and I can lock it at a height where I think it's reasonable for this model, and then I use the fine height adjustment to get the center of the blade level with the FA point of the tooth. It's important I measure every tooth from the FA point, otherwise we would be changing the torque or the inclination measurement for every possible morphology of the tooth. So we just need an average, and we take that from the center of the tooth. So here I'll measure, let me measure the 41. It's leaning out a bit, so I align my tip, the blade, the length of the blade with the long axis of the tooth. I adjust the torque to match the tooth, and then you see it fits there, and I just get it with the FA point, and I can read off that it's nearly plus 9 degrees of inclination, and here it's leaning positive, top of the blade's leaning, so it's plus 1 degree of tip. So that's the 41 measured. If I come to the 31, which is slightly retroclined, I have to move the blade. Now the blade's tipping the other way. It's still a positive because I passed the midline. So now this is positive on the left side of the arch, that is negative. So I'm leaning towards the midline, meaning it has a positive angulation or tip, and I will align the blade, and as you can see it's very quick. It takes about, it all depends how good you get, how fast and how fast you want to do it, but you know, no more than about 30 seconds a tooth really once you get going. And then I can read it off on here, and I've got minus nearly 2 degrees, about minus 1.5 degrees of inclination or torque, and on here it's leaning the other way. I've got positive 2 degrees. Very easy to use, very precise, and should last a long time. And we have a safety feature just in case you forget and that falls down like that. It stops on this nylon sheath, which stops the mechanism bashing to the base. Thank you.